Guys, I thought I'd make this video because I'm kind of tired of getting all the messages asking who I play, and I see it all the time. Who do I play in the franchise or players or looking at certain things, and I don't think a lot of y'all understand what the website that we actually have does. So it'll make it a lot easier. So I thought I'd make a video explaining to you, showing you the website, how to download it on your phone, and how to just basically everything the website has to offer. So first, I'm just going to go here. I have it already pulled up, so I'm going to highlight. Here's the website right here, the daddyleagues.com/ult franchise. So use that URL. I'm going to post it below in the YouTube channel for you can just easily access that. And I would bookmark it just like I do as well. So let me extend this real quick. I'm just going to go through every option that we have on the website for you to look at. So obviously, it's going to track. You can easily look at the standings. I like it a lot better than going on the actual game where you don't have to flip through. So you can easily look at what's going on, playoff race. All the stats are right in front of you. It gives you a game of the week and players of the week. And it gives you the power rankings as well and top statistical leaders. So obviously I think we're in week 14 at the moment, so we're pretty far in. Alrighty, first off, you can go to player stats. That's the common one, so you can look at every stats if you want to see your typical stats, your league leaders in passing, rushing yards, sacks, tackles. I also like this. It's a lot easier than looking at it because on the game you have to actually go to tackles and sort it and everything. Everything here is easy, and receiving yards, interceptions, stuff like that. And if you want to see the complete list, all the players, you can come here, and you can easily sort through the players and their ratings. And then secondly, one thing that you don't have on the game is the rookie stats. And I actually used to always look at this. I'd always like go down in the stats to find the rookies to see who's doing the best. So this makes it a lot easier. For example, in passing yards, it shows the rookies. Clifford leading at 3,400. So it's the same stats, but it sorts it out for you. Only have the rookies. And this is good for the rookie race as well for winning awards. And then you also have your statistical records. Y'all see me post this a lot. I'm literally just copying and pasting. It's keeping track of the records since we started. So this isn't like an all-time records of like all-time the history of the NFL. This is just records of since we started the franchise. So you can go and see what people have done in past years. So all different types, defensive tackles, receiving touchdowns, defensive interceptions in the season. It's only season, though, which is a little frustrating. And also what I think is cool, it projects fantasy points, weekly fantasy leaders, even though we're not doing a fantasy, but it tell you what points they'd be bringing each week of fantasy points if you were playing fantasy with the players, which is cool. It's just cool to look at, but nothing crazy. Alrighty, so also you can go over to the players tab. You have player search. You can search any player. Let's search Grant Delpit. So you did search Delpit. Oh, I can't spell. I really can't spell. Okay. Got Delpit. Scroll down. There he is. Grant Delpit. And click on him. And it tells you everything about the player and the trade value. Right here, we will get into that in just a little bit. I'll explain that a little bit more deeply. But it tells you everything about him, what's his contract, how many years left on the contract, gives you each individual attribute, will tell you his abilities, stats that he's done, and it gives you how he's done up and down, each game stats, what teams he's been on, and when he had those stats, which is cool. Madden doesn't have that right now. But it has attributes, history, trade info. Gives you a cool breakdown of the stats. It's a lot easier to look like. So if you're looking at a player of the trade, I'll go and look at the player on here because I can easily look at all of his stats and abilities without having to like go over and try to find which stat I'm looking for. So this is a lot simpler way to do it. And lastly, trade info, which again we'll get into later, but it's going to give you his player worth. So actually, I'll go ahead and do it now. So it has draft values, and this draft values is set. I can change the strength of the picks. But this is what Daddy Leagues basically says. This is what a first-round pick, and it basically assigns a numerical value to each pick and how much it's worth. And obviously, a player has a numerical value. So it's saying he has a 1,300 trade value. So it's going to tell you trade worthy early first round pick. So 1,300 would probably say he's worth trading for the 9th pick in the draft is basically what it's saying. And so for a second round pick, blah, blah. And this will come in handy in a second when I show you the trade calculator. And then right here, trade values. This is showing where he's getting his value from. So obviously it's not like end all, because you might value something a lot more than something else, but this is how Daddy Leagues values their dev traits, years left, salary, speed, etc. So I think that's pretty cool. So you can come down here and you can also compare players. So if there's 2 players you're trying to compare, which player should I drop? You come and add the player. If it didn't just freeze on me. Oh, there we go. Let's search the player. Let's go. Quarterback, team. We'll just go to the Browns, search. We'll take Joe Burrow and we'll add him. And then we're going to add another player. Let's go quarterback. Let's go down to the Bulls, search. Let's take Daniel Jones. All right, so it's going to compare these players. So basically, it's just easily going to show you and line up their stats versus each other, so you can see, what the comparisons are. So it's all right. It's whatever. I like doing that when I'm looking at potentially trading or so forth. All right, this is the big one, trade calculator. I use it almost every time I trade, and a lot of other people do as well in the league that I've told them about. But I feel like a lot of you don't. So you should never get screwed in a trade if you use those. Now, obviously, it's not going to be 100% accurate, because obviously you might value things more. So like you might want a certain player more. But in general, like to make sure you're not getting screwed, this is a very, very good way to check your trade. And I'm going to show you how it works. So basically you pick your team. I'm going to go down. Let's go down to the Saints. All right, who are we going to pull from the Saints roster? Let's take Eric Kendricks. All right, and let's take Myles Garrett. All right, and then we can go in and we can take, let's see, DJ Chark. All right, or however you pronounce his name. All right, we're going to go over to the Dolphins, and we're going to ask for Donovan Smith. Sucks in real life too. Luke Wilson and Big Lloyd. All right, so obviously that's a really unfair trade. Obviously that would never happen. So I'm just doing it on purpose just to show you what it does. Decline. This deal is lopsided. Please review and rework. We got a 7760 for our trade differential. So basically what it's doing is saying the Saints' strength of the players is 7827 and the strength of the Dolphins is 67. So there's a 7,760,000 point differential between these 2 points. So that's obviously not any close. Obviously you would never make this trade, but it's just showing the point differential between the strength of the players. So let's see. Let's go and rework this trade and see if we can find one that works. And let's use a different team. How about we use let's use Dizzy's 49ers. Where are they at? Oh, already on them. All right, and Dizzy's going to trade with the entire league probably. No, just kidding. Let's go Bulls again, and we're going to put up. Let's see, Dizzy, Spencer Rattler. We're going to put up Gross Matos. All right. So then we're going to come over here, and let's try to make this as fair as possible. Okay, let's see, quarterback. Let's go Daniel Jones. All right, there's a big difference there. So all right, and then let's go Josiah Scott. All right, so in theory, you got an 84 young defensive end, Daniel Jones, same overall quarterback. And then you're matching your corner and this cornerback on the side. So in theory, it looks like it's accurate. We'll see. Decline. Whoa, okay. So I was wrong. So since he's a superstar, it's giving him major value. So it's giving him 15,000 value. It's only giving Spencer Rattler a 2,000 value. So in theory, you're like, oh, this is a pretty decent trade. Rattler to Jones, okay, and Matos and Scott. And I'm like, all right, well, Scott has no value because he's a normal dev. You got a star and you got a hidden. Probably a star dev because he's only worth 2,000. $12,000 difference and saying it's a decline. But in theory, that looks like a pretty decent trade. So let's go back and let's try it again. Who are we going to use this time? We're going to use, no, Panthers or CPU. Let's go Thunder. And let's go Eagles. We'll go Cam Akers. All right, we'll go Leonard Fournette. We'll go Jamison Crowder. And over here we'll go. Let me go. All right, let's try that. Let's see how that works out. All right, decline, but we're much closer here at 2,965. So you have to get it under 2,000. I'm pretty sure it's like around 1,000. You got to be within 1,000 for it to be considered a good trade. Obviously, there's way more value over here on the Toronto Thunderbirds valuing Miko Hardman, which makes the difference in this, and Jamison Crowder. Probably because Miko's age is so much younger than Jamison Crowder. But that, on theory, I mean, looks like a good trade. Actually, I would probably do something like this, but according to them, they're declining. They're saying that's a bad trade because they're giving him much more worth with the X factor than the star, and they're giving the worth over here to Miko for this is the big difference. So it really comes down to you. How much more do you value Miko than Jamison? They're obviously adding speed in there as well, which is going to take into account that the 3,000. So we couldn't get an accurate trade down, even just trying to screw around and make it work. But obviously you can get an accepted as long as you get within that 1,000 point range. So you'll never get screwed on a trade if you use the trade calculator, which I think is the coolest thing on here. Alrighty, so after the draft, it's gonna post the draft. So if you want to go look and see all 7 rounds who people drafted, you can go here to draft recap. And this is from the last draft. Obviously, Kayvon was taken first, Stingley was taken second, Wilson was third, blah blah blah. So if you ever want to go back and say, hey, where was this player drafted? You can go look and go all the way to the 7th round. Go back and find where these players, what players are drafted, what their overalls, who got steals, who didn't. I definitely look at it. You can also go to the draft. It's going to show you the top 10, which is basically the recap, which is stupid. Top tier, so it's going to tier you who drafted the best. So the Oilers, which is actually now Dizzy at the 49ers, congrats. It gave you the top slot, and then Eagles is right behind him at 9, so it's the number of top tier players drafted, and it shows by team, so basically showing how well you drafted. And I'm pretty sure it gave the best draft award to Dizzy, so let's see. Best draft. Yep, it gave it to Dizzy, which is a new user, but it was Dizzy when he drafted that team. So yeah. Alrighty, here's the main reason why I'm doing this video: schedules. So you go to your schedule, you see who you play. If anybody's asking, you just go here. Like, all right, who do I play? Oh, there I am. Browns. I play the Express. Okay, and you know who you play. All right. So if you've already played, you can also come in here, and you can check the team stats. You got your team stats, which shows all the stats of the game, and you can go into player stats as well. All right, very simple. Go back to schedules. Shows you the postseason, sportbook, and strength of schedule. So sportsbook is going to be your betting lines, which is kind of cool if you like betting lines. But also it shows you strength of schedule as well, which is this is where I post the strength. When you all complain, this is where the strength of schedule comes from, showing you the strength of each team's schedule, and it gives each team a rating of how strong they are. Obviously, it's not 100% accurate because there's a lot of sim games and stuff, but it's still cool to look at. All right, rules is not on there. Standings, obviously you can look at all the standings, and gives you a power ranking here, giving each team a rating. So top team, Eagles right now at 35. Or I don't understand, they're 38. I don't understand why they're lower. Maybe that's, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but whatever. There's strength of schedule. I have no clue how they compute that. All right, and then last thing is just teams. So I think this is cool. You can go to any team. You can click on the stats of the team. Every time I play a user, I go here and look at the stats, who they throw the ball to the most, who they played, what they do. Do they run the ball? Do they pass the ball? Look at their roster. And also it tells me what type of offense they're running. So Dolphins run a spread base 4-3. So obviously they might not run that specifically, but it just kind of gives you an overview of all the teams in the league, which I like. All right, so lastly, I'm going to show you how to download the app. So to get this on your home screen, I only know how to do it on the iPhone. So give me 1 second, and I'm going to post a video of how to do that as well. All right, guys.